Hey there, it's Kelly Donahue Piro, your favorite industry best friend. Well, I'm here to let you know that you've done something great for your agency by joining and listening in on our podcast or watching our YouTube channel. I just want to remind everybody that we're here to help. So if you need anything, drop a comment, go to our website, hang out with our chat, or just contact us. There's a problem in your agency, I got solutions, right? I like to think of it, you got a problem, I'll solve it. But let's get into the content today so that you can improve your awareness and knowledge of solutions that exist to the agency's core challenges.
My rule of thumb is 80%. Does it work 80% of the time for 80% of the situation?
We don't want to just give them the gift of every question you have about any of our procedures. It's in this book, and then not really follow up on, are you actually reading it and are you actually following it and putting it to practice?
It's not going to be developed to perfection right away. So roll with it and give yourself grace.
Hello and welcome back, Blog Banter fans, I guess we should say at this point, right? You have Gina, our emerging agent trainer. We have Sarah, the virtual training trainer. I am the agency trainer, performance trainer. I don't know. We're all trainers here, y'all. And we're going to just keep building on our why we need processes and workflows, why it's important for agencies. And today's topic is empowering your team with an insurance agency procedures manual. This is one of those things that we get calls for all the time. Like, can I just buy a process manual? Can I just buy a procedure manual? And even when I was doing data consulting, I was like, no. And they're like, but why not? And I'm like, because I'm going to tell you the process, and you're going to tell me it doesn't work for you because of X, Y, or Z. Or you don't like to push this button, you want that button. Or you want this result, not that result. Or your clients don't like this, they like that, right? So it's one of those things that really has to be tailored to your agency. And we have to look at the vision, where your agency wants to go. What is the purpose? What do you want that client experience to be? And I think you need to be looking at as well when you're creating a process manual for your agency. We have to keep the client at the front of everything we do. What is the client experience? I know Sarah's very passionate about that part of it, as am I. And I love the clarity is kind with the team, right? I can tell you you're doing something wrong because I told you the right way to do it already. If you chose not to follow it, and maybe sometimes that you just needed more training, or I wasn't clear in the training, or we didn't give time to build the habit. But I think it's one of those things most agencies avoid. They're like, well, if I create a procedure manual, will it ever be done? So what is some of the common pushback we get when it comes to building a procedure manual?
Everybody wants to give their 2 cents about, I don't like this, or why is this in here? But, it's really important to define exactly what we want there. And I think it's also too many cooks in the kitchen, right?
Yeah. And Gina, what were you saying?
They wait for it to be perfect. Like, I can't build, it's not ready yet. It's not perfect. Or they have to think of every single step for every what if situation that could possibly maybe at one point potentially happen. So it's never done because it's not in reality, I guess.
Or there's just too many steps sometimes, right? Like, here's 743 things that you need to learn to do today. And I'm like, I can't even remember 7, let alone the other 733 that you put in this process, right? So sometimes it's way too much. Sometimes it's not enough. Like, there's never a happy point. My rule of thumb is 80%. Does it work 80% of the time for 80% of the situation? Let's get it rolled out, and we can add addendums as needed or as things change. I think a lot of agencies are also kind of afraid to go back and say, do I have to redo everything I've already done? I work with a lot of agencies that are good at process. Like, they have a problem, they'll come up with a process, they train the team in it, and then they hire a new person. And I'm like, well, where's the process? They're like, well, it was an email a couple of months ago and I can't find it now. I'm like, but where's it stored? They're like, well, it's somewhere in my drive. And I'm like, so how does the team find it again to go back to it? Well, they should have a folder in their emails of all the process. I'm like, that's cute, but ... Also, if they're downloading it to their desktop, do they have the most current version? If something changes, are they remembering to delete the old one and replace it with the new one? No. So I think one of the biggest battles we have is like, where do we put it so it's accessible? Where do we put it so it's remindable? But how do we also make it easy to locate? So, what are some of the things that we need to look at when we're building it besides where do we store it?
So, definitely, we have to inspect what we expect and making sure that your team is following along with the procedure manual. So, that could be listening to the recorded calls, going through their customer experience feedback, whatever the case may be. We don't want to just give them the gift of every question you have about any of our procedures. It's in this book, and then not really follow up on, are you actually reading it and are you actually following it and putting it to practice?
And I think there's also sometimes a lot of pushback depending on what the process is, right? They're like, why do I have to do this? Like I had agents that wouldn't answer the phone if a call was transferred to them. So we added codes into the system that the reception team used that said transfer accepted or transfer voicemail.
Mhm.
And we could run an activity report of who the call was being transferred to and quickly see in the management system how many times they didn't take the call when the phone said that they were available. Then we had other trainings with the agent of, hi, you had 74 opportunities to talk to a client and you didn't, and you're overwhelmed by the amount of voicemail you get. You talked to 6 of the 70 some. This is not acceptable, right? But the reception team was like, okay, this makes sense. The agent team was like, this is dumb. It's dumb because we're trying to solve a pain point and problem, right? So sometimes there's those friction points or things we also need to address and share the why. Sarah, you talked a little bit about call reviews and making sure we're monitoring for quality assurance. Gina, do you have any other thoughts on the right way to build processes?
I think it's important to build in what ifs into a process. I think it shows the team that you're anticipating how it will be received from their perspective. So, like, what if I go to transfer the phone and Sarah's on lunch? Because people in the agency will probably take a break at some point.
Yeah.
So, building in those little nuances of what if this happens, and I'm not saying every potential what if, because that's just not realistic, but the basic what ifs, so your team knows it's built into there, it's identified how to overcome it right off the bat, and it just flows better.
I think it's also really important to make sure that not only you have your documentation is written, but not everybody loves to read. And I also feel like sometimes people get that perspective of, I'm not reading all that. And so other people, they're visual learners. So maybe create a video on that process so that you have multiple ways that people can digest this information and apply it themselves moving forward is really important.
So I kind of touched on some of this, but what I want us to kind of take away from this conversation today is a strong procedure manual is going to grow over time. There is going to be edits that need to be made. We're going to have to consistently add to it, and we can plan a lot of that out ahead of time. But what it also helps with is making sure that workloads are consistent among similar roles. We can look for those breaking points or pain points and say, does this person really need to do this? Or can it go to somebody else, right? Do we need to hire another role to take some of this off and let them become their better self? I think it also helps us predict results better, like review calls increase your retention. Being proactive is appreciated by many clients and it makes them nicer. I think if we have scripts and work through a lot of that, it also helps calls be less cringy or our team get more comfortable with it. And it helps with some of the chaos of vacation or backlog. If we have clear processes that address the biggest thing, people know what to do, and it can take the emotion out of the motion, right? We need to do this to get this result. That's not a feeling, it's a fact. We need to remember it's not control, it's clarity. So if our team is feeling like we're trying to put them in a box, bless us all, we're not, but we need to have consistent performance for roles so that we know what a good job looks like. Does anybody have any closing thoughts?
Just give yourself grace while doing it. It's going to take time. Like Steven said, it's not going to be developed to perfection right away. So roll with it and give yourself grace.
And we're here to help, right? We have our 10 process course. We have the online school. We have virtual training, live training. Anything you need, we can probably help with, and we can help you build the processes for your agency. But you have to give us a call and we have to talk for us to know you need the assistance, right? So reach out to us, agencyperformancepartners.com. And on our final blog for the month, we're going to talk about standard operating procedures from draft to done. How do we take it from the idea to making sure it's working? So I look forward to seeing you all then. Thanks, guys.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that. It is so fun giving you guys tips and tricks every single, week out there. Remember, you can find us on social media for updates. You can like or comment on this podcast or video, and we're here for you. And check out our website. There's a ton of tools. We have over 1,000 blogs on our website. We have over 1,000 videos on YouTube. You can search and find answers to your top questions. But also, if you need a little bit more help, you want a best friend that's there cheerleading for you, giving you the guidance that you need, and being there on some of those tough days, let us know. We'd love to meet your agency and learn if we're a good fit. All right, signing off. Go sell insurance.